This happened to me. I didn't cause this. I didn't do it. This happened to me, and it can happen to anybody. There are a lot of women who've experienced what I did. Kill these girls, and these are young girls.
Rihanna just had her third baby, and she's already stirring drama by spilling hot tea about Beyoncé allegedly covering up some twisted secrets for Diddy. People always wondered why Rihanna never collaborated with Beyoncé, especially since they were both so close to Jay-Z, and now it seems like we finally know the real reason. Back then, Rihanna admired Beyoncé deeply, even calling her a major inspiration. But now, she barely even mentions her name. Why the sudden cold shoulder? Well, aside from having to deal with Jay-Z allegedly making inappropriate advances towards her, even reportedly cornering her in his office when she was only 17, Rihanna apparently also had to handle Beyoncé herself, allegedly trying to drag her into Diddy's wild parties. At first, Rihanna thought Beyoncé would have her back, especially during the chaos with Jay-Z, but she quickly realized Beyoncé was not the supportive friend she pretended to be. Reports claim Beyoncé tried to pressure Rihanna into participating in these disturbing gatherings, leaving Rihanna feeling betrayed and alone. The shocking truth came into sharper focus when Freddie, a former member of Diddy's group Da Band, revealed just how close Beyoncé and Diddy actually were behind closed doors. One of the wildest confessions just resurfaced, and it's messier than anyone expected. A former cast member from the MTV show Making Da Band revealed something that flips the whole cheesecake story on its head. You remember when Diddy made those boys walk 4 hours, on foot, across New York, just to get him a slice of cheesecake from the Cheesecake Factory?
Not in the public. So it made it really difficult. I just felt like, oh my God, here goes my little bit of privacy, just exposed. Like, it's something that nobody wants anybody to know. So here I am, the whole world knowing.
Well, turns out it wasn't even for him. According to the ex-cast member, that ridiculous mission was actually Beyoncé's idea. Yup, she was the one who allegedly told Diddy to make them walk instead of calling a car. And Diddy? He just went along with it like it was some twisted power trip challenge. The exact neighborhood in New York wasn't revealed, but it took them nearly 4 hours round trip, walking just to deliver a piece of cheesecake. All while folks at home were laughing, thinking it was just funny reality TV. But behind the scenes, it was straight-up humiliation disguised as entertainment. Now people are seeing that moment for what it really was, a red flag that Diddy wasn't just eccentric. He was on something darker. And Beyoncé, she may not have been as far removed from the chaos as she's made herself look. Freddie P has finally spilled the truth. And it's wild. The infamous cheesecake incident from Making Da Band, that humiliating mission wasn't even for Diddy. Nope, it was for Beyoncé. All this time, folks thought Diddy made those boys walk miles across New York just to flex his power. But according to Freddie, he was just doing Beyoncé's bidding. Apparently, Beyoncé said she wanted cheesecake.
Why be ashamed?
Because I didn't want people to think that that's the kind of person I fell in love with that person. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing that that's the type of person that I fell in love with. So far in love, so unconditional that I went back.
But instead of having someone from her own crew handle it like a normal celeb, she let Diddy turn it into a full-blown public stunt. He forced the group to march for hours through the city like it was some twisted boot camp. All so she could have dessert on national TV. And you'd think Beyoncé would have been uncomfortable knowing young artists were being humiliated like that just to please her. But Freddie says she didn't bat an eye. In fact, she sat back and enjoyed that cheesecake like nothing was wrong. At the time, fans were confused. Why would Diddy go so hard just to please her? They didn't seem tight like that, aside from her being Jay-Z's wife. But clearly, behind the scenes, Beyoncé held more sway than anyone realized. And Diddy? He was willing to do whatever it took to keep her happy. But here's where things really get wild. Allegedly, Beyoncé wasn't just a bystander in Diddy's private chaos. She was in it. This tea came bubbling straight from DaBaby himself not too long ago. He shared a jaw-dropping story about the time he attended an exclusive party at Diddy's house. And let's just say, things got real strange real quick. According to him, Diddy cleared the entire room, leaving behind only 4 people: himself, Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and Diddy. That's it. No staff, no security, no extras. Just them. And once the room was empty, Beyoncé suddenly started getting real chatty with DaBaby, even introducing herself like he didn't know who she was. Like, girl, people said, you're Beyoncé. Ain't no way he doesn't know who you are. Stop playing. But it gets deeper.
8 or 9, actually. And I don't want that to happen. That's not what I want to teach people. But again, people, I'm a human being, and people put me on a very unrealistic pedestal, and all these expectations. I'm not perfect. Also, it's pretty natural for that to be the first reaction. It's completely normal to go back. You start lying to yourself. The minute the physical wounds go away, you want this thing to go away. This is a memory you don't want to have ever again.
Jaguar Wright, who's known for pulling the curtain back on music industry secrets, claimed this was actually one of those freak-off setups, and that Beyoncé was trying to turn the charm all the way up to get DaBaby's attention, because apparently Jay-Z wasn't cutting it in the bedroom. Jay-Z might be getting older, but the stories about him and Beyoncé just keep getting darker. Word on the street is that at one point, both Jay and Beyoncé allegedly tried to pull Rihanna into those infamous freak-off parties. Yup, they allegedly wanted her in the room too, and when she refused, that's when things took a nasty turn. Insiders say Rihanna started getting pushed out of the circle fast. Her album got leaked. Tracks started popping up online before release, and that's when she realized this wasn't just petty drama, it was sabotage. She packed up and slowly backed away from the industry spotlight. Now, it makes sense why Rihanna's been so hesitant to come back to music. She's got her Fenty empire, she's a billionaire, and she doesn't need to play their game anymore. And honestly, who would want to return to an industry that tried to break you for not playing along? Just to add some emotional weight to this.
When I realized that my selfish decision for love could result into some young girl getting killed, I could not be easy with that part. I couldn't be held responsible for telling them.
Rihanna once looked up to Beyoncé. She even called her my biggest inspiration. But everything started falling apart once Rihanna's star really began to rise. The more success she got, the more her love for Beyoncé started to fade. That admiration turned cold real quick once she got a closer look at who Beyoncé really was behind the scenes. The final straw? Beyoncé's track, Bow Down. That song sent shockwaves, not just for its tone, but because it came off like a direct shot at Rihanna. People were stunned. How did Beyoncé go from uplifting women with Run the World girls to calling them out their name and telling them to bow down like she's the queen of everything? Fans weren't having it. Beyoncé got dragged for the hypocrisy. And instead of just owning up to the mess and maybe apologizing to Rihanna, she doubled down and got defensive. That move pushed Rihanna over the edge. She clapped back hard on Twitter, posting a headline that crowned her the Queen of Pop in the UK. The caption? Ice cold. She wrote, "I only know how to be number one. I could use a challenge. How that feel down there on your knees?" Yeah, Rihanna didn't just throw shade, she blackout shaded Beyoncé and didn't look back. Many people believe Beyoncé's beef with Rihanna kicked off when those rumors started flying, that Jay-Z was secretly messing around with Riri. But now it's looking like that wasn't the only reason. Word is, Rihanna refusing to join her and Diddy in those so-called freak-off parties might have sparked even more tension behind the scenes. Now, if you didn't already know, Rihanna's own publicist admitted to starting that Jay-Z affair rumor as a stunt. Later, he came clean, saying, "The PR stunt I did was out of desperation to help break Pond to Replay. It was reckless, and I didn't think it was going to work. I was just throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what would stick." But a lot of people never fully believed that walkback, especially since Rihanna herself allegedly shared a way darker version of what really went down. She claimed that on the day she got signed, Jay-Z locked her in his office for hours and didn't let her leave until she agreed to sign. She was young, new to the industry, and according to some whispers, not everything that happened in that room was about paperwork. Let's be real, Rihanna was still underage at the time, and that detail alone makes the whole story even more disturbing.
I just didn't realize how much of an impact I had on these girls' lives until that happened. It was a wake-up call. It was a wake-up call for me, big time. Especially when I took myself out of the situation. And I'll say that to any young girl who's going through domestic violence. Don't react off of.
And remember what we said about Beyoncé and Jay-Z allegedly sabotaging Rihanna's album after she refused to take part in those freak-offs with them? And Diddy? Well, here's where things get even messier. Rihanna's Anti album mysteriously leaked early on Tidal. And guess who owns Tidal? Beyoncé and Jay-Z. The leak forced Rihanna to drop the album before the planned release date, throwing off her entire rollout. Meanwhile, Beyoncé's Lemonade had a flawless launch with full-blown promo everywhere. The timing? Way too suspicious. Rihanna's Anti did just 124,000 copies in the first week. Beyoncé? Over 653,000. That's not just a win, that's a wipeout. And fans quickly started questioning why the numbers were so off, especially since both albums were expected to dominate. Things got even more awkward when Rihanna and Beyoncé were spotted at the Tidal press conference, actively avoiding each other. A source told Naughty Gossip that the tension was obvious. They refused to stand next to each other or even speak. The whole event was staged to avoid any interaction between them. It was icy, like you could feel the bad blood through the photos. Now, the real question is, will Rihanna ever speak on the record? Will she take the stand with all of this behind-the-scenes drama? It's unclear. But one thing's for sure, people aren't letting this go. They're connecting the dots, fast. And one fan summed it up perfectly. The fact that Rihanna and Beyoncé have never done a single song together? That tells you everything you need to know. One person straight up said, "Come on, Beyoncé knows exactly what kind of man Jay is. She knows he likes him young. Jay definitely messed with Rihanna." And that comment? It's got people talking. But what do you think? Did Rihanna just pull the curtain back on Beyoncé's secret connection to Diddy? And was she really joining in on those freak-offs too? Sound off in the comments, I need to hear your take. And while you're at it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss another drop of this Hollywood chaos. Hit that notification bell because the next twist, it's coming fast.